Welcome back. You're watching Global Lens on News9 Live with me, Neha, Khanna. Today, India made history on many counts. Indian lawmakers bid farewell to the old and iconic British-era Parliament building and shifted to the brand new one that was inaugurated with much fanfare in May this year. This move marks a significant shift in the country's legislative history. Prime Minister Narendra Modi led the tributes, celebrating India's rich parliamentary journey of 75 years before the proceedings moved to the new Parliament House. Today was a poignant day in Indian politics as the old Parliament building, a symbol of India's democratic evolution, saw its final moments as the seat of power. Built by British architects Edwin Lutyens and Herbert Baker, 2 decades before India's independence, this historic structure served as a custodian of democracy for close to a century. Prime Minister Modi, in his emotional farewell speech, acknowledged the building's significance, stating, and I quote, "Today is an occasion to recollect and reminisce the parliamentary journey of 75 years of India before the proceedings are shifted to the newly inaugurated building." The Prime Minister proposed a new name for the old Parliament building, Samvidhan Sadan or Constitution House, emphasizing its importance in India's constitutional history. He called on future generations to draw inspiration from the memories of those who crafted the Indian Constitution. Prime Minister Modi said, "I appeal to you and I hope you will consider it after deliberation." Now that we are going to the new Parliament building, the glory of this house should never decline. We should not just call it the old Parliament. This building should be known as Samvidhan Sadan so that it always serves as an inspiration for us. When we call it Samvidhan Sadan, the memories of those great people who once sat here in the Constituent Assembly get linked to it. We shouldn't let go of this opportunity to offer this gift to the coming generations, he said. In a symbolic gesture, Prime Minister Modi, along with other members of Parliament, walked to the new Parliament building. This marks a significant step forward as the new Parliament complex becomes the official seat of India's democracy. The move to a new triangular-shaped Parliament is part of a $2.4 billion reconstruction project aimed at giving institutions a more Indian identity. And as India's parliamentarians entered the country's new seat of democracy, came another historic move. The groundbreaking Women's Reservation Bill that aims to guarantee 33% reservations for women in the Lok Sabha and state assemblies was tabled in the lower house today, a day after the Modi cabinet cleared it. Prime Minister Modi urged the opposition to unanimously pass the bill that has been hanging fire for nearly 3 decades. The Prime Minister said on this historic occasion, in the new Parliament building, as the first proceeding of the House, the beginning of all the parliamentarians opening gateways for women power is being done with this crucial decision. The Women's Reservation Bill will further empower our democracy. There have been many debates in the past regarding women's reservation, and I appeal to lawmakers to support this bill, the Prime Minister said. Union Law Minister Arjun Ram Meghwal introduced the bill as the 128th Constitutional Amendment Bill. What does this bill aim to do? The bill mandates the reservation of 1/3 of the total seats in the Lok Sabha for women, a very significant move to ensure greater female representation in the national legislature. The amendment would apply to the legislative assemblies of all Indian states and union territories as well, with 1/3 of the total seats reserved for women, including those from scheduled castes and scheduled tribes. The bill specifies that these provisions will come into effect after a delimitation exercise is conducted, ensuring a fair and balanced implementation. The bill also allows for the rotation of reserved seats for women in the Lok Sabha and the state assemblies after each subsequent delimitation exercise as determined by Parliament. This proposed legislation marks a significant stride towards gender equality in Indian politics. While its journey through the legislative process is yet to unfold, it does represent a major step forward in ensuring that women have a greater say in shaping India's future. However, the Women's Reservation Bill is not new to Indian Parliament. The bill was introduced for the very first time back in May 1989 by the then Prime Minister Rajiv Gandhi. It passed the Lok Sabha but failed the Rajya Sabha test. Later in 1992, the then Prime Minister P.V. Narasimha Rao successfully passed a similar bill for local bodies. In 1996, the H.D. Deve Gowda-led United Front government introduced the 81st Constitutional Amendment Bill for women's reservation in Parliament, but it lapsed due to a lack of sufficient political support. Attempts were made yet again in 1998, 1999, 2002 and 2003, but failed every single time. Then again in 2008, the bill was tabled in the Rajya Sabha by the then UPA government and passed in the upper house but lapsed in the lower house in 2014. Today has been a day of positive change and progress in India's political landscape. As the old Parliament building makes way for a museum, the new Parliament stands ready to usher in a new era of governance, and let's hope that this time the Women's Reservation Bill becomes a reality, ensuring that India takes a big step towards making its democracy much more representative.
इतिहास की महत्वपूर्ण घड़ी को स्मरण करते हुए आगे बढ़ने का ये अवसर है। हम सब इस ऐतिहासिक भवन से विदा ले रहे हैं। आजादी के पहले ये सदन इंपीरियल लेजिस्लेटिव काउंसिल का स्थान हुआ करता था। आजादी के बाद ये संसद भवन के रूप में उसको पहचान मिली। ये सही है, इस इमारत के निर्माण करने का निर्णय विदेशी शासकों का था, लेकिन ये बात हम न कभी भूल सकते हैं और हम गर्व से कह सकते हैं कि इस भवन के निर्माण में पसीना मेरे देशवासियों का लगा था, परिश्रम मेरे देशवासियों का लगा था और पैसे भी मेरे देश के लोगों के। इस 75 वर्ष की हमारी यात्रा ने अनेक लोकतांत्रिक परंपराओं और प्रक्रियाओं का उत्तम से उत्तम सृजन किया है और इस सदन में रहे हुए सबने उसमें सक्रियता से योगदान भी दिया है और साक्षी भाव से उसको देखा भी है। हम भले नए भवन में जाएंगे, लेकिन पुराना भवन भी, ये भवन भी आने वाली पीढ़ियों को हमेशा हमेशा प्रेरणा देता रहेगा। ये भारत के लोकतंत्र की स्वर्णिम यात्रा का एक महत्वपूर्ण अध्याय।
मैं भव्य संसद भवन में आने के बाद बहुत खुशी हुई, अभिमान भी हुआ कि स्वाधीन भारत के लोकतंत्र का ये जो भव्य मंदिर है उसमें बैठकर लोकतंत्र को मजबूत करने के लिए कार्य करने का मौका हम सबको मिलेगा। बहुत ही भव्य वास्तु है, हम सबको बहुत खुशी है कि हमें इसको देखने के लिए मिला और भारत के इतिहास में भी एक आज का दिन बहुत
सारा काम नए विधि विधान का अब नए भवन में होगा ही, तो भविष्य में जो भी कानून बनेंगे, जो भी फैसले होंगे, वो नए सदन में, इस भवन में ही होंगे। इसलिए प्रधानमंत्री जी ने कहा, ठीक ही कहा।
जो पुराना स्थान उसका अपना महत्व है। ये वो स्थान है जहां से हमें आजादी मिली। यही उस जवाहरलाल नेहरू जी का भाषण हुआ था कि जब पूरा विश्व आज आधी रात के समय सो रहा है, तब भारत जागने जा रहा है। तो ऐतिहासिक भाषण हुआ था। संविधान परिषद की बैठक यहाँ पे हुई थी। सारे कितने निर्णय जो है यहाँ पे लिए गए। तो भावुक पल, वो नॉस्टैल्जिया हम सबको है। मैं भी संसद में 2000 में आया था, तब तो लगातार मुझे भी जो है 20 साल से ऊपर हो रहे हैं, तो मुझे भी संसद से तो लगाव रहेगा। अब नई संसद बन गई है, उसमें भी जाएंगे, उसका भी स्वागत है, सब उसमें जाएंगे। लेकिन इस संसद का क्या उपयोग हो जो देश हित में अनवरत रहे, जो लोग इसके बारे में लगातार इसका कुछ न कुछ उपयोग होना चाहिए। ये सिर्फ इमारत नहीं रह जानी चाहिए। तो मेरी सरकार से मांग है कि संसद का भी संसदीय कार्य के लिए कितना उपयोग हो, इसकी कुछ योजना बनानी चाहिए।
कि this is symbolic of the old transitioning to new, the new transitioning to the aspirational, and the way of functioning also changing from physical to digital. I think this walk is symbolic of that. इससे ये होता है कि एक तो है नया बिल्डिंग को जा रहे हैं, उसमें ज्यादा फैसिलिटीज हैं, लेकिन जो ट्रांजिशन देश में हो रहा है हर क्षेत्र में, आई थिंक ये उसी को सिंबलाइज करता है. दैट्स व्हाई वन फील्स प्राउड टू बी अ पार्ट ऑफ दिस न्यू इंडिया, टू गिव अ सेंस ऑफ पर्पस एंड डायरेक्शन. और इसमें ये है कि जो लोगों का जो ये एस्पिरेशन है, लोगों का जो गोल है भारत से, हमारे से, हम लोगों के रिप्रेजेंटेटिव से, वो मेरे ख्याल से हम लोग वही भरोसा दिला रहे हैं कि हम नए पार्लियामेंट में जाएंगे, उनके लिए और ज्यादा काम करेंगे और देश को आगे ले जाने के लिए कोशिश करेंगे.
A truly historic day for Indian democracy. That's all the time we have on this edition of Global Lens. If you have been, thanks so much for watching.
BrahMos, stealthy, lethal, precise. It flies at 3 times